Harry was 32 years old when his financial life hit rock bottom. Every morning when he opened his eyes in his small apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, the first thing he felt was a heavy weight in his chest. It was not just exhaustion, it was fear. Bank notifications started at 7 a.m., messages about overdrafts, accumulated interest, and overdue payments. Harry worked as an accountant at a mid-sized company. He earned $4,000 a month, yet it was never enough. His wife, Hermione, had stopped asking about their finances months ago. She already knew the answer. 3 maxed-out credit cards, a personal loan whose payments consumed 40% of his salary, and worst of all, a flexible credit loan he had taken out to pay off other debts. That March morning, Harry received a different kind of email. It was not from the bank. It was from a colleague, Ron, inviting him out for coffee. Ron had gone through something similar years earlier. Harry remembered him well. The same dark circles under his eyes back then, the same tension in his shoulders. But now something was different. Ron looked calm, even prosperous. Harry accepted the invitation more out of desperation than curiosity. He needed someone to tell him there was a way out. They met at a downtown cafe. Ron ordered a black coffee. Harry, out of habit, chose the cheapest option on the menu. Every dollar mattered. Ron smiled with understanding. He had been in that exact place. "I'm going to tell you something that changed my life," Ron began. 5 years ago, I was $10,000 in debt. Today, my net worth is $400,000, and it all started when I stopped running from my debts and learned how to use them. Harry looked at him skeptically. He had heard too many empty promises before. But Ron was not selling anything. He was simply sharing his story, and Harry needed to hear it. Ron explained that his breaking point came when he consolidated all his debts into a single list. How much did he owe? To whom? At what annual interest rate? "Most people collapse because they never face the numbers," Ron said. "I was afraid to see everything together." When he finally did, Ron discovered something terrifying but liberating. His biggest debt was not the most expensive one. He had a $40,000 personal loan at 9% interest, but his credit cards totaled $30,000 at 24%. Ron recalled, "That was like working a full week every month just to make the bank richer." That was the day he understood that not all debt is the same. Harry felt a chill. He was in the same situation. His credit cards were destroying him, yet he kept making minimum payments on all of them equally. Ron continued. The next step was brutal but necessary. He literally cut up his credit cards with scissors. "You can't get out of a hole if you keep digging," he said. "I stopped using credit completely for 2 years. It was hard, very hard, but necessary." Then came the smart part. Ron went to his local credit union. He had something to negotiate, a 5-year relationship. He asked to speak with an advisor and presented his plan. He wanted a $30,000 debt consolidation loan to pay off all his credit cards at once. The interest rate would be 12%, 12 points lower than the cards. The credit union agreed. "In one move, I cut my monthly interest payments from $600 to $300. That $300 was my freedom. Because it didn't disappear, I redirected it. That's where my wealth began." Harry was hooked. "Redirected it where?" Harry asked. Ron pulled out his phone and showed him his investment account. "I opened an automatic savings account. Those $300 that used to go to interest started working for me instead of against me." But Ron's story didn't end there. After stabilizing his finances, after 6 months of faithfully paying his consolidation loan, Ron did something that seemed contradictory. He took out another loan. I know what you're thinking, but listen carefully. Some debts destroy you, and others build you. The new loan was for $20,000. Ron used it as a down payment on a small condominium in a developing area of Tempe. He used a mortgage loan, good debt, with a low interest rate and backed by an appreciating asset. My mortgage payment was $1,300, but I rented the condo for $1,650. The tenant paid the debt and generated a positive cash flow of $350 monthly. Harry finally understood. It wasn't magic, it was strategy, financial knowledge applied correctly. Ron had changed his relationship with money. He no longer saw all debt as an enemy. He classified it. Bad debt, high interest, unsecured, used for consumption. Good debt, low interest, backed by assets that generate income or value. For the next 3 years, I repeated the cycle. Each year, I bought a small property. Today, I own 4 properties. 2 are fully paid off. The other 2 pay for themselves. Harry felt hope, but also fear. "But I can barely handle my current payments," he said quietly. "How am I supposed to invest?" Ron leaned forward. "That's exactly where I was, and here's the hard truth. Your problem isn't how much you earn, it's how much you spend and where it goes." He asked Harry to review the last 3 months of expenses. That weekend, Harry analyzed every transaction in his banking app. The result shocked him. Between unused subscriptions, food delivery, and impulse purchases, he was wasting over $1,200 a month. On Monday, Harry made his first serious decision. He canceled everything unnecessary, cut up his credit cards, and went to his credit union. He consolidated his most toxic debts into one low-interest loan. The first month was tough. Harry and Hermione adjusted to a simpler lifestyle. No restaurants, shared streaming accounts, homemade lunches. But something changed. For the first time in years, Harry felt in control. Not rich, something better, clear. 6 months later, his credit card debt was gone. The relief was real. Harry followed Ron's strategy. The money that once paid interest now went into investments, low-risk index funds, $300 a month now working for him. After a year, he had $4,000 invested, but the real shift was mental. Harry learned about money, assets, liabilities, cash flow. Hermione noticed the change. He slept better, smiled more. Their relationship healed. 2 years after that coffee, Harry took the next step, a small duplex in an emerging area of Mesa. Fair price, strong potential. He used a 3.5% down payment with a special mortgage, strategic debt. Both units were rented. The rent covered the mortgage and left $400 extra each month. 3 years after his lowest point, Harry had built passive income. Today, Harry is 37. He no longer fears bank notifications. He welcomes them. They show growth, stability, progress. His story isn't about getting rich fast. It's about rebuilding smart. Harry and Hermione now teach financial education to young couples in their community. The debt that almost destroyed them became their greatest lesson, and that lesson is worth more than money.